Rookie here. It's the Pat and JT podcast.
Pat and JT podcast.
Holy episode 29 plus 100 of the Pat and JT show.
Really?
Yeah, Pat and JT podcast. 129th episode. Thank you guys for downloading, subscribing, sharing with your friends, and reviewing, rating, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's Pat and JT pretty much everywhere you get your podcasts. So we appreciate your support.
Absolutely, and appreciate your responses or asking any questions about anything. I had some responses to a couple of the topics this last few days. Other people agreeing they don't enjoy the gardening. Not going to have a garden.
Right. It's 2019, people. It's 2019.
You can buy it fairly reasonable at the in the produce section at your grocery store.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And a couple other things here, just general yard work.
And the naming of things.
Naming of things. That's another one. One of we were talking about our friend Shannon, and she names her plants. And she has an extensive list, actually, of her plants, and actually has a diagram which window each group of plants hang out at, and trying to figure out how she can slide in a cactus she wants to add to the family, and then come up with a name for the cactus. So there are people who are impressed with the names, want to know how she determines the sex of the plant.
It's a very valid
Because there
question.
were guy names and girl names.
Yeah. Do you look at the stamen or the pistons?
I don't know. I'm impressed.
TBT to 7th grade science, the only thing I remember.
Or was that the Discovery Network? What are you watching?
Whatever.
What,
No,
science?
it's some website.
Sci-fi?
That's all I remember from the science.
Okay. Of course you remember that too.
Miss Seekman, you were a great teacher, but I didn't pay attention.
You giggled the entire time you were learning that whole lesson.
Piston stamen. Yeah, of course. Of course I did.
That's funny. So yeah, talking about naming things, and and then we also had a Connie who responded that she was kind of upset that the cactus was going to be named Connie. She says, I'm a little prickly at times, but there's no need.
It just sounded really good.
I love
it
those.
It just flowed off the tongue.
I love going through those things. So.
Allie said that they named their cars. I wish she would have said, this is on Facebook, it's Pat and GT. I wish she would have said what the names were. You know?
I remember a girlfriend of mine had a Maverick that was named Jeff.
Awesome.
It's a 2-door car, and you barely fit 4 people in it.
Jeff.
And she drove Jeff. She had a Cordoba that she named Corby. That makes sense.
That's kind of cute.
Right?
Jeff's just hilarious.
Jeff.
Just a name.
It was a little blue and white Maverick.
That is hilarious.
So yes, she named all her cars. I never did name my cars. Never did anything. Yeah. Never. I'm not good at naming things at all.
Obviously, you had a dog named Dog and a cat named Cat.
I basically gave up.
Yeah. At some point, you're like, you know what? Screw it. You are what you are. I'm just going to call you that.
I keep waiting for him to reveal himself and tell me what his name is, as people say. They want to wait till they see it. That never came
Dog.
to me. It's just Dog. Mm-hmm. D-A-W-G, by the way, and Cat was K-A-T. So
because he was at one point on the streets. So that D-A-double-G. Or D-A-W-G, whatever.
D-A-W-G.
It's more street.
He was more street because he was lost. That's why he was on the streets. He was lost.
Wasn't a thug. He just couldn't find. 2/3 blind and couldn't find his way home. So that's his rap name. 2/3 blind.
Gave him a name like that just so other dogs would leave him alone.
Yep.
That was it.
Back up.
Yeah. So I'm not good at naming things. I'm just down the list. Mm-hmm. Can't think of anything that I.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's
a lot of pressure. Especially with kids, because supposedly, names give them potentially their personality, or people can group them with other people because of their names.
Do you believe that? I mean, I do.
I think so.
I think that there are certain names that people will live up to.
Yeah.
If you give them the opportunity. So you have to pick carefully.
Yeah, be very, very careful.
When you're deciding what the name's going to be. And for some people, it's weird too, because some names have a connotation, as far as you grew up with somebody with that name, or there was somebody infamous with that name. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm not going to be.
And it almost says more about the parents, because if the parents name their kid blah, 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 and you're like, well, that's what on earth are you thinking naming your kid that?
But the kid then has to carry it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And whether it's a super sexy little name or it's a really cute name, and then as you grow older, you're like, I really wish I didn't have a really cute little name.
I wish I wasn't Buffy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right? I know what you mean. I'm sure. Yeah, it does. It makes a difference.
Well, yesterday after we got done recording our podcast which was on whatever. Yesterday we got done doing our work.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter when. I get this random text from Sophia. She had called me the night before. Sophia, my daughter Sophia, 14, and she called me the night before and said, "Hey, can you help me buy a plane ticket to go see a friend of hers, Sochi, in San Diego?"
This is her best friend, and her best friend moved.
Is
that right?
No, this is.
This is the best friend from the families.
No, this is where Sochi and Bennett were adopted together at the same time in Guatemala. So that's how they've known each other forever.
Known each other. That's right. That's what it was.
So now they're at that age where apparently they can make plans like this without talking to parents.
When you were 14, did you ever plan to go anywhere?
Other than Al's and eat as much as I could in Fremont I didn't plan much.
The thought never crossed my mind, but that's the internet. I
just didn't plan much. Yeah. Maybe if I was in the city around kids, I could have planned to go uptown.
I couldn't go to a
school.
game by myself.
Right.
Like go to a high school game.
I didn't want to go to a game by myself. I had another option.
Or even go to meet my friends.
Yeah.
It was like, well, no, we'll take you. Or it's not, or riding my bike over town.
Right, because you couldn't. You couldn't do it. I mean, it was too far.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
Nowhere.
Huh? Interesting.
Yeah, so struggle was real. So she asked me if Beth and I could help pay for an airline ticket, and we're like, nah, probably not. We can give you some spending money or whatever. And so the next day, I get the text that she has apparently set up a GoFundMe for her little trip to Cali. And
this was the funny part is he says, well, she wants to set up a GoFundMe. That's what you said.
Right. You heard because on the phone, you heard. I don't think you heard the whole conversation, but you're sitting right next to me. But you heard basically what it was about. And then I told you, and right when I told you this is what was happening, you're like Beth does. You say one word, and instantly she's Googling her on Facebook. So you're online and you find it, and it was 1 minute after she said she was going to set it up.
It was set up.
Posted. It was posted.
It was all she had to do was hit send. That was all she had left to do.
It says, "Help me raise money to go to Cali."
Cali, Cali, Cali.
And then she asked me if I could put it up on our podcast Twitter account, Facebook page, and then I gotta. And she's a beautiful girl, right? Beautiful girl.
You don't have to qualify.
Well,
you don't have to qualify anything.
I do because I guess beautiful or not, it doesn't matter. But
you don't have to qualify this.
Her profile picture at first was a picture of her and her cousin, my niece,
same age,
Emerson, basically the same age, in bikinis.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa, no.
Yep, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Any father of a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-ld or
a 42-year-old
father of a daughter, period, is going, oh no, that's not happening.
No. So it's like, it's just my stomach has just been in knots because now not only do these creepy people on the internet saw pictures of them in their bikinis, but now they know she's potentially going to be in California without her parents in July.
And she used the same picture for her Facebook.
Yes, that she's just now on.
She just got her Facebook up and running again.
So, yeah. So
she was adding pictures, which was kind of funny. As she was adding them, I don't know that she realized that every one of them was posting to her timeline as her new avatar, kind of her new Avi photo, whatever you want to call it. And so it kept just like post after post after post, and you keep seeing the same. And I'm like, oh,
she's funny.
That's hilarious.
She's funny. So yeah, and then she also got on the horn to get some side cash from grandma because knows grandma doesn't go fund me what.
Right.
Yeah. So
she's not going to click that button.
Grandma.
So she decided, oh my goodness.
So it's a whole deal.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what I did yesterday. I've got a couple of things for you. In the last 24 hours, I about got scammed. And I am like the king of wearing the tinfoil hats. You know what I mean?
You tinfoil crown.
Right? I don't trust anything that comes in. Don't click that. What are you doing?
Yep.
Okay, so I got a text that has a number that is somewhat familiar. The banker that I work with, I've gotten to know her over the years, somewhat, and it's not uncommon it's not unheard of for her to send me a text, and the number starts the same because it's an out of state area code, which a lot of people have anymore. Mm-hmm. Don't even think about it, and it mentioned my bank in the text.
Whoa,
which would be her, that would be typical. And to give me a call, and it was something about my account. So I called.
Instead of responding via text. So What was this?
The
guy's name that answered.
Well, it was automated voice, but it was very familiar, and claimed to be Verizon. That I was going through to establish a secure connection with my bank by name. And
what?
I'm like,
what? This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So all they got out of me, they know my phone number because I responded, but they already had that. They were just hoping to get a live one. Thanks. And unfortunately, my security code for Verizon. So I had to change that. Right after I did it, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Hang up. And I hung up and I was like, that's not normal, because I was doing other things at the time.
Yeah.
I was a little distracted. And so I had to call Verizon right away, and I changed the security code and gave them the information.
Jeez.
So I almost got sucked in. So it's just so easy.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're distracted a little bit, but then also if you're older, like in your 70s or 80s, and you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah. You get a text message from a phone number that, and oddly, everything just lined up. But it was a little off, but it wasn't enough to make me go, huh. Because I was just distracted enough that I wasn't honing in on it. Had I just been sitting there and I got that text,
when they said the name of your bank, did it sound like it was put in there like, this is Becky from XYZ Bank? Or did it sound like part of a conversation? Like, did it sound like they were...
It sounded like it was a recorded message that somebody claiming to be with my phone service, Verizon.
Yeah.
And that I needed to put in my security code so they could establish a secure connection with the name of my bank. And they said it just like, it wasn't like an edit. Like, we need to connect you with Bob.
Yeah.
And, it's not like
you
that.
would have like, nah, I'm out.
Yeah, so be careful. It's a super short little text. That's the first time I've gotten a text that was that sneaky, that had too many familiar things in it.
I've gotten some before.
Emails I get all the time, but I don't ever.
Yeah. I've gotten spam, a lot of spam texts over the last over the last year, where it'll ask if I want to apply for something or whatever.
It's crazy. And something else too, while I was getting this text, I happened to be shopping. I was at Target.
I go to Target every day.
Yeah, I don't, and
It's
I was wandering around Target, and something dawned on me. And there was one section of clothes, and I don't know if this was intentional, because it wasn't like that in other sections of clothes, and I thought, this is brilliant. Why don't they do this all the time? Usually when you go to a store and look at clothes, all the clothes that are the same, like all the shirts that are like this style are over here. All the shirts that are all these kind of jeans are over here. Instead of just putting them in sizes, why don't they just have all the size
so Target
over
did
here,
that?
one section of clothes.
That's a great idea.
And so it was a bunch of different styles, but everything was in my size right there. And it was like, this is all of them right here. And so, you had like all the size 8s over here, the size 10s over here, size 12s over here. But they were all the same types of clothes, but they were all gathered by size.
That's brilliant.
Instead of by style.
Brilliant idea.
And that would make it so much easier, because then you could just see this is what we have in your size.
Yeah. So don't even get depressed and go over there and
you don't need to thumb through every flipping shirt to see if maybe they hung the wrong one on a hanger.
Yeah.
But this, conceivably, there were some hung up on the wrong hanger. But anyway, that was my choice.
That's a brilliant idea.
I thought, that's a great idea. Sort them by size instead of by style, so you don't have to.
I love that idea.
Pile of things when you're trying to find that one pair of jeans in your size.
Yeah.
And apparently everybody's my size. And flipping through all the jeans trying to find, and there's not one.
Right. Why is that when you're looking for something in your specific size, it's always gone. No matter what size you are, it's always gone. And you look and there's every other size, stacks and stacks.
Shoes are the same way for me. It's almost always my shoes they're never any in my size. They're always
and you got to call the other Kohl's and have them hold it.
But anyway, so that's my tip for retail today. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's a brilliant idea.
Just organize it by size.
If you're I was at a grocery store the other day, a couple weeks ago, and it rang up whatever. I don't remember what we were buying. It was alcohol. That's what it was. Oh. Big shocker. And it was these pants I have on right now.
Maybe you were drinking alcohol.
Wow.
When you were buying the pants.
I was wishing it would be alcohol. No, it was these pants.
Okay.
And they were and it was at Target, and they were on clearance, on the clearance rack. And if there's something on the clearance rack that doesn't have a little clearance sticker on it, I always grab it and go to the little remote zappy scanner dealy. And I did, and it said these didn't register in their systems. Like, well, it must be on clearance, but there was no clearance price. And it was on the 70% off thing. So I went up, and the woman at the register, she's like, yeah, these aren't supposed to be on clearance. They don't register, but they're on the 70% off. So they gave it to me 70% off. So these are like $4.
Because somebody was lazy enough to just throw a pair of pants on the clearance stack, and
Yeah.
you ended up getting it at clearance price.
That's happened to me like 3 different times. Well,
Have you ever done that on purpose?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
No,
this
I don't
was on
think
the
so.
clearance rack. I
don't think I have, because normally if it doesn't have the sticker, it was
won't
if they
do
put
it.
it there
She was just in a good mood.
because it wasn't registering in the system
At all.
Like these pants didn't exist, but the Goodfellow, these do exist, and they're my favorite. And they're like $3.50.
I saw the Goodfellow set up there.
It's the best.
Yeah.
So if you know that it's ringing up incorrectly, like if you buy something, it's $15 and it scans at 7. Do you look around and go? Do you tell them? Do you say, hey, that was more? Or do you go back and get 2 or 3 other ones and buy it?
Well, the other day at the grocery store, I grabbed some salsa, and it didn't register, and we couldn't find it anywhere, and there was no price anywhere to be found on any of the salsas that were like it. And the guy looks at me, he says, $3 sound good? I said, sounds great.
Really? It's a hell of a deal.
It was a really good deal because I think normally that size of container is like $6.
That's a really good deal.
It's like $3 sound good. Sounds great.
Perfect.
That's all right.
I just want to go home.
I'm hungry.
Just done.
Just want to take my salsa and go home. Oh my God. And then I posted a story yesterday. You may have seen about the breakup of the marriage of the woman from Ireland who married a 300-year-old pirate spirit.
Right.
I finally read the whole story.
Yeah, I didn't know of this.
This one, I kind of remember this happening it was a year or so ago. She got married to this spirit. So what happened was the spirit was in her house, and she somehow he introduced himself to her, and she knew he was a pirate spirit. And she kind of lives in that world because she's an impersonator of like the Jack Sparrow type pirate stuff. Not Comic-Con type stuff, but cosplay kind of things.
What is it? What are those called when they're like reenactors?
Reenactors. She does that.
Okay.
So she's kind of into this already. So it's not that far-fetched that she has a quote-unquote pirate living in her house. But they got really friendly and apparently decided, and he wanted to have more than just hanging out together.
You want to be more than just ghost friends?
Yeah, and she didn't want to do that unless they were legal. So that's why they got married. So she wasn't going to just fool around, and be used by a ghost. And then
yeah, God forbid.
And so she made it legal out at sea with some type high priestess. I don't know what it was that married him, and a shaman, something. So it was legal. So she got married to the spirit out in the middle of the sea. And they got married. It was a little over a year ago, so everything was going great for a while. And then she finally wrote on her blog that she needed to let everybody know that the marriage was over. They were going to go their separate ways, and just kind of a word of warning to people not to mess around with the paranormal, because it can get a little crazy when you're messing with spirits. And that she is thinking of what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. The Omen. What do they do in the Omen? They give him a
exorcism?
Yes, she wants an exorcism. That's it, to make sure he's completely gone.
Mama got a little scared.
I'm going to say there are probably a few people with human partners that they need an exorcism.
Right, a human exorcism.
Completely detach myself from this person. But she thinks she needs to get an exorcism to finalize the divorce. But they're splitting up.
That seriously. And you had somebody a ghost man right in your bedroom. You could have married him.
Right. There you go. Well, I said, if they didn't make it, I might as well just give up.
If there's no hope, those crazy kids can't make it.
I give up. And I think a couple of the responses hilarious, that she got ghosted. Okay. He ghosted on her. I don't think that was it. I think she kicked him out. I don't think he just disappeared. And I think Rob McCartney, he's got the worst dad jokes.
They're awful.
Hilarious. They're so bad. They're hilarious. What was it he said? Oh, they had a spirited honeymoon.
Yeah.
There were some other good comments.
Did she ever talk about about their interactions, like their parks activity?
Apparently there was. She said there was. That's why she wanted to put the brakes on things because she wanted to be married. She has 5 kids, by the way.
Human, like alive humans?
Yeah.
Her ex-husband is like, oh God, Thank you.
But you think it took 5 times?
Well,
I mean,
eventually you hit your limit and you're like, that's it. I'm out.
so yeah. So there you go. So there was that. So that's what I bring for you today.
No matter how good your vision is from Kugler, you
Couldn't see it coming.
They couldn't. Yeah,
They aren't magic.
Yeah.
But they can sure get you close. So if you want to get rid of the glasses and you want to get rid of the contacts.
If they could, at Kugler, make it so your eyes
clearly?
could see paranormal spirits and ghosts.
I don't think so. I think
You-
I'm
you
ignorance
different.
is bliss. There's a reason that's saying it's so
Right.
popular.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd wanna see
Ignorance is
'em.
bliss. I mean, everybody that you've ever seen, like, okay, if you want to believe in this stuff, and I do think that there is more to it. That is
After the stories
I
you've
do
told, you
believe.
should, of course,
Of course, I
believe it.
believe. And then we've got some very good friends too. Psychic Andy, and his sister. And then there are other, TV shows, watching the people that see things or have visions.
Right.
And I do think that some people probably do have that ability or sensitivity. And I don't know that I'd wish that on anybody. Because I think it would be really,
They've said
really
it.
tough.
I've heard it from people. When Chip Coffey was in our studio, he said he doesn't want this. He doesn't want it. And what's that? Tyler
Yeah.
Henry has said it too. He's like, man, I'm
Yeah.
glad I can help people, but I wish I could shut it off.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a good thing that they don't have that package.
I mean, yeah.
So at Kugler.
Do you want the ghost package? No.
How clearly do you want to see?
Not that clear.
But if you do want to ditch the glasses, ditch the contacts, yes, Kugler Vision is definitely the best place to start and finish that journey.
And if when they ask you where you heard about Kugler Vision, just put Pat and JT podcast. There's a little box that says other. Click other. We are proudly an other.
Yes, we are. Absolutely. We like being a write-in.
Totally. Do it. Write it in. We appreciate it. Also, subscribe, rate, review our podcast. We are very grateful that you're listening. It's Pat and JT, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Pat and JT Podcast. A Parkville Media Production.